All right, guys, I am joined by Justin Damude. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. I've had the pleasure of talking to multiple Montana people. I got Kim Brophy coming up. I had Luke Anderson. I had Caleb Mills out of Billings. It's like the Montana week for me to be talking to people that are doing big stuff. So thanks for taking a couple minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were just a second ago, we were talking a little bit about, you said you invested what, 37, 40,000, $47,000 in college.
Yeah, roughly about that, like 37,000.
37, and you were just saying like, man, there's these books and some of the experiences that you've had have been worth so much more than that and so much cheaper than that as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just going to Barnes and Noble has been a better education than my college ever was. Even with the GI Bill, I was still getting paid to like go to school, but it wasn't enough. So what I did is I took out loans, which obviously was stupid. And then what I learned in business from my experience now and as to what I was learning in school, it just you can't compare it. It's just a
No,
waste.
not even close. I mean, experience is the best education ever. I mean, you learn so much more when you make a mistake than when you don't.
Hmm.
So I mean, I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
so Justin, we met through your wife. I went to church with her and was kind of in that circle when I lived in Missoula a while ago. I think she had seen some of the stuff that we were doing with real estate and kind of coaxed you into having a conversation with me.
Yeah, at the time, actually, well, yeah, she was saying in her opening was, "Hey, I got a buddy over in Billings that I used to go to church with who does real estate," and I was like, "Oh, great, another one." So at the time, I was doing Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was forking out around $800 a month, and that was just the beginning program, and it was more of a mindset thing versus actually real estate. And I was really focused on, hey, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I really love the concept. I love the idea of picking up real estate and turning and making your money work for you. She was telling me you were all about that, and I was like, well, all right, I'm gonna give him a shot. I'm gonna look into him, and so I did. I reached out to you, at which point you got me into the mindset. Hey, just come in and listen to this conversation. Listen to this one call. It's free. It's not gonna cost you anything, and then we can talk from there. I want to know what your goals are. And I honestly thought it was a complete scam at first. Like I was 100%. I was like, this is gonna be a waste of my time. And you're asking me for like $5,000 a month. Like this is stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I was really determined.
It
And
is a scam though. It's a scam. I'm trying to trick people into getting out of their own damn way.
oh, dude, yeah, a job is a scam. Working 40 some years for 30 of your years, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
that was about. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was a year, maybe a year and a half ago. Um,
I joined back in like 2017, man.
Jeez, holy cow. Okay, so
Yeah, I've been
you're
around. I'm just not
yeah,
as active in the kingdom because I'm doing my own thing now, and like I do pop in because you guys have so much like value posted, and I love to like interact with the people there and like with trailers. How I got started with trailers, one guy was asking like, hey, how do you do this? I was like, dude, this is easy. Like this is
oh
what
yeah.
you need to do. Go call these people, go find people that move those trailers, and then when they get a call to go and pick one up and move it to the dump, they call you. You go and offer $1, and then the person that's having them haul off, you just saved them $1,400. You picked up a trailer for $1, you move it to a lot, you sell that thing for $4,000 down, and like a $7,000, $9,000 note. Like, come on, you can do $150 to $200 a month, and you can stackpile those really quickly. And that's what I
Oh
did.
yeah.
It was great.
So
And
you're a little bit of the unicorn here because so you joined. I'm gonna call it 2 years ago. We started 26 September 11th, 2016. So I think it's been about 2 years. You're a little bit of a unicorn because you've done mobile homes, you've done fix and flip, you've done buy and hold, and you've done wholesale. Like
yep.
you've kind of even against my better judgment, like you've taken down a little bit of everything, dude. Which is you've accomplished a lot in a couple years.
I I always felt like, all right, I can do anything, but I want to do something that makes sense to me. And so, like wholesaling, Makes a lot of sense to certain people. I honestly don't like it. Like I'm not a big fan of doing it. It feels more of a grind than anything else. And I'd rather spend my time doing something else. And so when I first started, yeah, those larger gains helped me along with my, monthly bills. Cause I literally quit my job to do this.
Mhm.
In January of 2018, I left completely. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do real estate 100% of the time. And my wife was terrified. We had kids, she's like, what are we going to do? And my first deal took 2 months and I was supposed to profit $14,000 and I made 7,300. But that 7,300 made it real for me. And then at that point I was like, all right, I'm going to go do a few more. And then I met up with my partner, my business partner and investor at the time. I was like, let's go do a fix and flip. You have history. I have creativity. Let's put our brains together. Let's figure this all out. I'll bring some money and I'll bring the capital, make sure that we can buy the property. And then you help me do the fix and flip. And so that's what we did. And it went completely bad. I lost a lot of money, all my savings account, drained everything else. And I learned, verify your contractors. I took a big learning lesson from that, but it was
Is that the Kalispell house?
Yeah, it's Kalispell house.
Yep.
It's a nightmare. I'm going to write a book about it one day.
Dude, everyone's writing books in the kingdom. I was on in the group the other day or earlier today, and John and Wendy just wrote a book. Like, I didn't even know they were writing a book. They're like, oh, it's published. It's almost #1 on Amazon. Like, what?
That's awesome.
Earl launched a book. Like, I think Todd kind of spearheaded the book movement a little bit. But you should, man. Especially you want to talk about truly passive income. Work one time and get paid forever on it. Write a book.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to quantify this a little bit. So you were doing Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We tricked you into the free call.
Yep.
You loved it enough to join. That was a couple years ago. What do you think changed from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where you're paying quite a bit of money per month, and at that point, I don't think you'd done a deal, to, and we'll talk about how many deals you've done here in a minute, but to the point where you did that $7,300 wholesale deal. What was the change there? Was it their thing was mainly mindset and ours was more tactical? Was it like the practicality of it? Like something shifted probably in your head that allowed you to go from not doing any deals, I'm frustrated, etc., to, you kind of dove in and started to make some stuff happen.
Yeah, as far as the Columbus deal was the deal that I did, and it was more, it was structured. A lot of it was mindset. Like I'm a full-blown Christian, and I know a lot about what authority I've been placed in through Christ. Like I have that mindset. And so going beyond something, where it seems impossible, that doesn't faze me at all. Matter of fact, a lot of people saying that they could do the wholesale and like, this is how you do it. Like I could put that together. Like, okay, that could happen. That's pretty real. And like a lot of people are successful at this. So why couldn't I be? I just didn't have the means on how to actually take it down. Like I didn't know, hey, how do we advertise? How do I market these things? Where do I find a seller? When I get the seller, do I have the conversation? Biggest thing is like, how do you talk to those people? Like, and I had to get over a fear of like, what are they going to think of me? Like I'm a nobody. Like I'm trying to buy a house with no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I had to get over that. And I was like, well, I'm not buying the house. The buyer's buying the house. I'm adding value to them because this is what they want. And I'm adding value to the seller because they need to get out of it quickly. They're facing divorce or what have you, whatever situation they're in. And majority of the time, it's not money. When they kind of call you, you're like that guy that's like, all right, I'm in a bind. I need your help. And I don't know what to do. Everybody else, like I dealt with one guy that couldn't put his house on the market because it was just so bad. And he's like, I just need out of it. Like I'm burying myself in bills and I can't take care of this house and no agent's going to list it. Like, I heard you guys flip houses. I heard you do this. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, we'll come over and take a look at it. Met with them and we started going through all the numbers, went through it with the contractors, and we made a deal happen. But it was like, at that time we were the buyer. And so all you got to do is remove yourself. Like if it was somebody else that was buying the property, If they came in and they started looking at the property, what's their criteria? What are they looking for? And that's just asking questions. You buy property, I buy property. If somebody came talk to me, hey, what do you buy? I'd start telling them, and this is what I'm looking for, and this zip code, this is, and so if they bring me something I'm not interested in, I say, no, this doesn't fit my criteria. And that's just a conversation. It's just sitting down with people and actually talking to them. But I didn't know that. I had the mindset enough to kind of say, all right, I'm going to go after it. And I was determined to change my life.
It reminds me of the verse, like faith without works, like mindset is in just to kind of correlate it here, mindset is the faith part of it. Like there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time like working on their head, but they never gain any traction because they never have any works. They never get on the phone call with somebody. They never, they never start pushing through some of those barriers. Like for you, it was a little bit of like the belief thing and like how to communicate. Mm-hmm. So like other people, like they do a bunch of stuff, but they don't have the mindset to back it up. So it really goes in tandem. And I think you learned that through doing some of those deals.
Yeah, you can't do this without the right mindset, because you're going to come to a point where like I was scared to do conversations on the phone. Mm-hmm. You have to talk to people. And, I felt like a phony. I felt like, okay, I'm just lying to these people. Like that was a mindset I had to get over. I had to realize that it wasn't, I'm lying to them, I'm trying to steal their house, all that. I'm actually adding value because I know the person that's going to buy it. I know the person that's looking for that property. I know the person that's going to help them, that have the finances, that has everything lined up, and that's what they want. And so I'm just, the in-between person. I'm connecting them. And at that point, that's where my value comes in. And if that's, $1,000 to $7,000, sometimes people make $20,000. That's what it is, and on top of that, you're coordinating the whole deal. Like you're writing up the contracts, you're doing all of stuff with title. You're making sure that everything brings to the very end and the buyer can walk in and buy the property and the seller can walk in and sign it over. That's it. Like they're out. You're essentially the middleman that does all of it. Wear multiple hats, and then you have to learn. So I didn't know that. And in order to do my first deal, I had to learn that. And that's what the Kingdom taught me. Todd's course was amazing. And every phone call you guys got on and stuff, especially when we were doing role playing, where you guys pretended to be the seller. Those were great. Those were very informative. And it allowed me to kind of get how the conversation actually goes and what people are looking for. And once you do it a few times, like it's nothing. It just becomes a norm. And so I got to the point where it's like, all right, I am a businessman and I'm actually conducting business and I'm going to talk to you because you have a problem. So,
two thoughts before the next question. I was exactly like you. My mentor in Billings, dude, I would literally pretend, I would fake calling people. Like I would have fake conversations with somebody that wasn't there because I was so scared. So that little paradigm that you went through, totally relate. The next little thought that I just had, it's a little bit like, if you knew CPR and you're walking by somebody and they were choking, like if you didn't help them, like, dude, you're an asshole. Like you are selfish. Same thing, like you see somebody drowning in the lake and you know that you can go help them. So a lot of this stuff, and I think that huge paradigm shift is if you can help somebody, and that's the belief that we're talking about. If you can help somebody out of a situation, whether it's like a pre-foreclosure deal or a divorce or a probate deal, or the guy that, dude, I don't have 20 grand to replace the roof and the siding and the HVAC and stuff like that. So if you have a solution for them, which we do, if you have a buyer, et cetera, like if you have a solution and you choose not to help them because of a fear, in my opinion, that is a selfish approach that all of us have to get past that at some point.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward here. So you did that first deal. I want to kind of fast forward to where you are now. You guys are primarily flipping.
Yeah.
I know you guys are you were wholesaling ones that don't fit your criteria. and you're also buying and holding.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me, just kind of a brief overview of those. How many flips have you guys done in the past couple of years? How many wholesale and how many buy and hold?
So we start off just this year doing fix and flips like consistently. Done probably about 15 deals. We have 7 right now in inventory that we're working through. As far as wholesales have gone, I do it every now and then really, but my biggest one that launched me was I did a portfolio deal of like 6 single family homes, and I made like 80 grand because I took it out and I pieced it off, and it made more sense that way. So, that was a good deal that just kind of like gave me momentum. And then I realized
that wasn't in Montana, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Up in Great Falls. Everything I do is in Montana. This storage facility is the only one I haven't done in Montana. That's in Missouri. So, but yeah, everything is either Great Falls, Butte, Helena, or Billings area. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, there's certain markets that actually make sense.
Yeah,
as well as not one.
So you've done 5, 10 wholesale deals, something like that.
Yeah, and then like every other month or so, I do a wholesale deal. Like I've got 2 right now that I'm closing in 2 weeks. So
nice.
A lot of it I just JV because it does take a lot of work, and I don't like to grind. But I'm willing to help people that are, and so I partnered up with them. Like, hey, I've got a deal, you got a buyer, or hey guys, I've got a buyer, you got a deal. I'll put you 2 together.
For sure.
It's done.
So I mean, like, and that's exactly what we do. Like we wholesale probably monthly, but literally it's just I just have the buyer. I have relationships with different people, so wholesalers or even agents that don't know what to do, like it's a phone call, right? And then on the buy and hold side, you said you're working on a storage facility. Do you guys hold anything else at the moment or no?
Yeah, I've got a few single family homes, me personally with my wife, and then we have some lease option deals that we did.
Cool. Nice.
And then always the trailers, but we're getting out of those.
Yep. So, I don't blame you there.
Yeah. No, mostly it's just been fix and flip. We're doing the apartment building in Billings. Like we'll be closing that in the next 2 weeks. That's 21 doors.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent deal. Seller carryback too. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Which everyone says can't be done. Like, dude, for a while there, I thought I was the only one that had ever done it. Like, none of the other mentors had done it. Like, nobody, like, everyone's like, it just doesn't work. Like, well, how have I done it then?
Yeah, we actually.
So, I want to give just a brief, but there's a bunch of people that are going to watch this that have no clue what we're talking about. Because a carryback is essentially when you normally use a bank. The bank normally wants a down payment. It's typically 20%. In a carryback situation, the bank funds the 80% that they agreed upon, and the 20%, basically the seller is financing that for you. So they're not giving it to the bank. That 20% you're making payments to the seller on, and often that will allow you to get into a deal using little to very none of your own money. I've done it on multiple multifamilies, but it's a relationship game. That's where most people. That's why they don't think it's possible.
Yeah, and this particular lender, it's a fund, but I personally know him, and he does private money for me. So he's like, yeah, let's just do it through my fund. It makes the most sense to do it that way. So I was like, all right, well, what do I need to come down with? Like, well, we'll cover the down payment and the repairs as long as we're in first position. So we talked the seller into second position, and they got put in first position. So the only money I have to come down like 10 grand. So. And that's
for a 21 unit, dude. I'll take that deal. I'll give you 12. I'll give you 12 grand. You give me that deal.
We'll talk.
Right. So I've got about 5 minutes here, man. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Kind of heard how you started, kind of about where you're at with the deals that you've done. What's your bigger picture, man? Is it to continue doing the flips? Is it to transition out anywhere? Like 12 months from now, 5 years from now, like where do you see yourself wanting to be? Like, what's your perfect world as an investor and as a business owner and a father, like the whole thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've had a lot of time to think about and pray over that. So, um, I am going to be transitioning out of fix and flips, more leaving it towards to my partner and taking a smaller position in the company, smaller percentage. Um, Maybe eventually sell out, but I'm not sure yet. And the main focus I have is love development, and modular housing is what we're doing, and owning probably 1,000 to 2,000 doors, honestly, in apartments, but more so I can actually feed it to my church and fund missionary work, nonprofit organizations. And so my overall goal is to travel the world being a minister and supporting missionary missions out in all over the place. Like we got our pastor, Stephen, he's going to Sri Lanka. And so I'm trying to help fund that as well. And I think that's just an amazing opportunity to do it through real estate. So, and then
Sure.
as far as a father concerned, you know, like my wife's pregnant with our third, so that's awesome.
Dude, you and Luke Anderson, you both have like 12 kids. I'm like, what are you guys doing? How do you afford that?
Real estate.
There we go.
No, I want to be able to set my kids up with like you know, trusts and everything else,
Yeah.
self-directed IRAs, be able to put them in positions in my company, small percentages to feed their accounts, and eventually teach them what I know about notes and how to leverage debt. And so that's the ultimate goal, so that they can do whatever they want. Like my son really loves art right now, and so he keeps talking about how he wants to be an artist, and I'm like, great. You know, artists usually starve, but you won't. So for you, bud.
Right. So I mean, we could, and we have, we could deep dive like the generational curses and generational blessings, and like all of that is something that probably isn't talked about enough. A lot of people, they're like, I'm doing this for me. I want a new Lamborghini. I want a penthouse. I want a yacht. But when we can start looking past us and looking 4 generations, 5 generations, 10 generations deep, that's a completely different reality that we get to, you know, be a part of, which is, I don't think anything can replace that, man.
Yeah, and I would wholeheartedly agree. I met some people, some individuals that came from that situation where somebody in their past made the right decision to set up estates and trusts and different vehicles so that they can continue their wealth. And now they just, you know, invest in different funds and different companies, and they enjoy the life that they do. But, you know, somebody had to make the turn somewhere so that they can enjoy it. And life is not about chasing money. Life is not about, you know, working 9 to 5 for a job that you really don't want to go to. Life is about enjoying what you have around you, the people. And in order to do that, I honestly feel like if you can remove financial burdens, financial freedom, it allows you to do so. You know, you might not be a millionaire. Great. If that's not what you want, wonderful. If you want to just make $200,000 a year and you're comfortable there, and you don't have to worry about when your next paycheck's coming in for your bills to be paid, and you don't have to worry about, you know, hey, we don't have enough money to go on vacation, or we want to do this, I can't put gas in my truck, my water's going to shut off. Like all these things create such a huge stress. And if you can just eliminate that through real estate and passive income, then the world's yours. So
Well, and again, this is like a debate that we would never have, but other people would have. But like you talk about, I don't want to get too deep here. We'll deep dive this mofo. You talk about life by design, and me and you share a similar belief, a similar faith, but I don't think we were ever created to be bound by, you know, the financial crisis and some of these things. Like I don't feel like that was how we were designed to be. There's other people on the opposite side of the coin that have the opposite mindset that would say, man, this is my normal and this is my reality. This is how it's always been. But just because it's always been a way doesn't mean that was how you were created to be or how you can be. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Dude, I greatly appreciate your time. I know you're busy. Um, Looking forward to seeing, a year from now where, where you're at, where I'm at, where some of these other people are at. Um, if you haven't watched the video yet, watch the one that Matt Motil just did. He signed a $55 million deal.
I saw
And
that. It was amazing.
his kids got, was it 5% or 0.5%?
It looked like it was 0.5%, but I'm not
It
sure.
was like, it was a couple grand a month each, right?
It was like $6,000 for each kid
Yeah.
a month
So,
into their IRAs. It's self-directed, so they can do whatever they want with it later.
oh yeah.
That's brilliant.
So for anybody watching this recording, those are very real situations. One of the other mentors in the group, signed a big deal where his kids are going to be a part of it. So guys, it's possible. Think bigger. Don't accept a reality that wasn't created for you. Justin, thanks again, man. I'm going to go ahead and cut the recording here, man.
Awesome. Sounds good, bud. Thanks.